They got better. Are they better than the Philadelphia Eagles? No. We got to talk about this trade with Deebo Samuel going to Washington and what it does for them going forward. And we're going to be talking about a tight end trade with the looming contracts of Dallas Goedert and Grant Calcaterra becoming free agents after the 2025 season. Definitely got to talk about this. A lot going on here. So let's get straight into it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. This video is sponsored by BetUS, so if you go check them out if you guys have not. Okay, Washington makes the first trade. Okay, they just aimed at an early trade. They acquired Deebo Samuel. They give away a 5th-round pick. Commanders fans' jaws are dropping. They're celebrating. They're having a good time. Obviously, they don't know what a successful move is, so they're just gonna parade over anything at this point. Okay, Adam Peters. No, he did nothing. He didn't help you here. Okay, he didn't help you here. But I'll be unbiased and be realistic because I think the Deebo move for them was a good move for them getting better. As for the long run, not a good move. As for if you're just trying to win something this year, I guess it was a good move, but it doesn't make you better than your biggest rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, now originally, this trade was supposed to go down, not just Deebo going to Washington, but it looked like San Francisco wanted some compensation back. Okay, they were trying to get Jonathan Allen involved in this trade to go to San Francisco. It looked like it did not happen. We heard that the Houston Texans had some little bit of interest in Deebo. It didn't cut out, but the main quote-unquote of this whole thing was it was always Washington the entire time. Okay, Deebo Samuel, 30 years old, coming off an injury, and hopefully he's had issues with his usage with the 49ers. And obviously, for me, realistically, I think they ended up getting Deebo Samuel at the wrong time. Just like when the Eagles in 22 called about Metcalf, called about Deebo, and called about A.J. Brown, and then finally traded for A.J. Brown. At that moment, that was the best time where Deebo was playing. When Deebo is healthy, he is the best yak yardage receiver that you will see, okay? And trust me, from a new standpoint, from a roster standpoint, from them just getting better, and they will get even more better, I still don't think that roster will even come close to competing with the Philadelphia Eagles going forward, okay? Jaden Daniels is in his second year right now. You have 2 receivers. This was your marquee move to jump over the hump into a Super Bowl, to get past the NFC Championship game, to get past the Philadelphia Eagles. This was the big marquee move for them. I'm sorry, but it's hard for me to say that this is such a big move. As a roster standpoint, it's good. As a competing standpoint, from what's in front of you, I don't think this is going to win you over. You got technically 2 receivers right now that are 30 years old. Okay, Terry McLaurin is 29, turning on 30 last year of his deal. De'Ami Brown's a free agent. You trade for Deebo Samuel coming off of injury. Okay, this is, and I think from having the 29th pick, they know they're not going to get the top receiver. I get that. They could have waited for somebody, but I don't think they were patient enough. Go get a DK Metcalf. That's a guy that I don't think is used right in Seattle at all. I think he's wasted a lot of years over there. He's dominated teams. And I think that would have been the more better trade. But yeah, you'd probably have to give up a little bit more. But for a Super Bowl, is it worth it to sign him long term or something like that going forward? I just thought they just hit the mark too short. And getting a guy that not only complains about how he's used, but I think he's a shell within himself. Like I said, I'm not saying he's not going to make plays for them, but the number one thing is he's got to stay healthy. Not even that. I'm excited to see Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Deebo Samuel kind of bump heads, this season because, when Chauncey was on the Lions and he was on, Deebo was on the 49ers, they talked a lot of crap towards each other. Okay. And now, they're about to meet again 2 more times this season. Okay. The problem I have with this is that Jaden Daniels going into his second year, that contract, like, for Jaden is going to be here before you know it. You're really relying on whether they bring Zach Ertz back or whatever, okay? Whatever it is at this point, okay? Jaden's got no receivers to grow up with. He's got none. He has none. He can stay consistent every year. Receivers that he can grow up with the next couple years at least. Okay, when Jalen Hurts was drafted, they went after Devontae Smith the next year. They traded for A.J. Brown the next year. And they have been together this entire time, building up that chemistry. Literally, your top two receivers are 30-year-old rentals this year, unless they, obviously re-sign Scary Terry, for another extension for a couple years or something like that. Whatever the case may be with that. But Deebo Samuel, $21.7 million, going on to that salary cap for Washington. I don't think it's the most exciting move that you guys are really trying to force yourselves to believe that is something amazing when it's not. And that's kind of where I am with the situation with that. He's going to go on a contract year in his third year with brand new weapons again, because he might have brand new weapons that year. And plus, if you're winning this year, you're not going to have a top pick to get a top receiver next year. And there's nobody long term on your wideout spot. So that's where I kind of say that this makes no sense to me. I get from a roster standpoint, from a long-term to it's just not really on board with it too much, but it is what it is. What do I know? They know what the good moves are apparently going forward. But what is the move what is going to motivate the Eagles? Deebo Samuel going to Washington. I think this motivates the Eagles to really go get Myles Garrett. I mean, as much as stupid as it sounds, because we don't even need him, this is a luxury. This is a luxury trade, okay? I don't think the Eagles are going to give up as much as everyone thinks they are. I think that's a lot of smoke. I think Howie's going to work his magic to give up bare minimum a couple picks and no players. And it's not going to be 2 first-rounders, okay? Khalil Mack was traded to Chicago when he was 27, okay? And they gave up a first, a second, a third, a fifth, and I forgot what it was. It was ridiculous. But you're talking about a 30-year-old player now, or a player that's 29 turning 30. It just can't be that much. Okay. I know people in the comment section are getting sick of the Myles Garrett rumors. Don't be surprised if they trade for him. He thinks Philadelphia is a high target for him, reworking his deal going forward. Okay. And it's not about the money. It's about winning a championship. That's the whole point of this trade. He's going to rework his deal with whatever team trades for him to make it easy for the trade. And obviously put him on a long term, which is a 2-3 year contract most likely. And we'll see what happens. This should motivate the Eagles. It's not even just a Myles Garrett trade. There's plenty of things that they really have to shore up and motivate them to do a little bit better now. Okay. Another thing is cornerback too. Still nothing's going on. It's been quiet, and the Eagles are always quiet during this time. This is just how it is. There's been not rumor about one player, especially at cornerback too. Isaiah Rodgers, free agents. Darius Slay is technically, I think, on contract, but I don't know if it's a voided contract or he's still on contract. I always forget. But, Slay wants to, be here for another year. But is he going to be hungry enough? Is he just going to go through the motions and just be like, I'll just ride into the sunset with one more year with the Eagles and whatever. And he's going to cost a lot of money on a 1-year deal. We need to see what that price number is. We need to see what that number is going to be for Slay. But you're going to keep DeJean at inside corner. Quinyon Mitchell, your number 1. And they really need to figure out this number 2 spot. Ringo is not ready, dude. He's not ready. Let him compete. Let him compete in the offseason. I don't know if the Eagles have enough cojones, which they've shown enough as it is, to go into this draft to draft a third DB in 2 years early in the first round like that. I mean, that would be a big surprise to me if that would be the big one for me going forward. If they actually found a number 2 to go on the outside opposite of Quinyon, another rookie on the outside going forward. So I think that's going to be really interesting. But they really have to shore up this spot. Isaiah Rodgers should not cost that much. He barely played. He's got it. His projected contract is like 1.3, 1.4 to $2 million a year. It's not much. He won't cost much. Obviously, this is the team that really gave Isaiah Rodgers the big chance. This is the team that really gave him his chance. The only team that had interest in him when he was going through the gambling situation. And look what happened. He's got a ring on his finger now. Why wouldn't he want to come back? So that number 2 corner spot, got to figure that out as fast as possible going forward. So, and it should motivate you to sign Zach Bond. Just saying. I talk about this every day. I feel like I'm repeating myself every day, but sometimes you got to do that. And you know what you got to do sometimes is buy some good merch, because the Philly Shakedown podcast has plenty of it for you guys with the new champion shirts. Definitely go check them out if you guys have not. High-sprung polyester, doesn't crack, doesn't fade. These take like 45 minutes to make to an hour. A guy works really hard. One of our designers works really hard on this T-shirt. If you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out in the link below and in the pinned comment and in the comment section as well. The main thing T-shirt in the hallway, Super Bowl win, MVP. Definitely go check out this shirt. This one has been selling like crazy. So appreciate everybody that's been checking it out. Links are down there. So definitely appreciate everybody that's been ordering. Now, lastly, I think to talk about here is trades for tight end. Tight end is going to be interesting. I think that's become one of the ones where, like, Dallas Goedert has $11.8 million cap hit. He is, missing 5 to 8 games a year the last few seasons, and I think Calcaterra has done a really good job behind him as he has been growing because of Dallas Goedert's absence. And when they're both together on the field at the same time, or when they're both active, they're even better together than they are alone, So Goddard, I see a restructured deal coming soon. They're going to rework his 1-year deal. I don't think they're trading him. I don't think they're getting rid of him. I think they're going to rework this 1-year deal that he has left in Philadelphia, and then we'll figure out his future going forward. If he can stay healthy for a whole year, that'd be great. Okay, Calcaterra, great number 2, will never be a number 1, cannot block, is just not going to be that direction for us. Now there has been rumors, and by the way, shout out to Anthony Dibona. He put out some information, but these reports did come out beforehand, but he came out with some other stuff which I thought was really interesting. Follow him on his X account. I will have it in the link in the description. Very, Eagles fan, covers the Eagles, fantastic job. He's amazing, by the way. So definitely go check out his stuff. He's really good. Michael Mayer. Okay. Michael Mayer is a very interesting tight end to me. Okay. Not a big-time player, second-round pick in 23. Obviously, when Brock Bowers was drafted by the Raiders in 24, they were supposed to be some big tandem. And obviously, his statistics, he only had 21 catches for 156 yards. Averaging 7.4. This could be one of those signings for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's 6'4", 265. He's got pretty good speed, pretty good separation. There's some good things from him. But I think this would be one of those Zach Bond situations where they bring a guy that they don't really feel too great. He's going to be what he is, but turns out to be some superstar, and this could be that move. Now, this doesn't mean that they can't go into the draft and go grab a Mason Taylor from LSU or Elijah Arroyo or something like that. I feel like they could do both here. I feel like they could sign a guy to free agency that's very cheap. They could trade for a guy and sign him in Philadelphia, and they can go into the draft and double dip at this position if they really need to. Guys, but Goddard's contract is only this year, and Calcaterra's contract's up as well. So you're obviously not going to pay Calcaterra a boatload of money for being a number 1 when we know he can't be a number 1 really going forward. So we have to just, take everything with a grain of salt right now. But Michael Mayer could be that gem that we've been looking for. Add him to the roster in a trade. Maybe just have those 3 on the active roster and kind of sit, or they might put Calcaterra in a competition this offseason. If they draft a really good tight end, you never know what could happen here. They could double dip in this draft. So the Michael Mayer thing, I've heard he was, he's available. You know, this could be one of those gems where, you know, he's just in a bad situation, get on a good team with the Philadelphia Eagles and start to thrive here, and young. So this is why you trade for a guy like this. If they trade for Michael Mayer, then they obviously love something. They love something. You know, and I'm hoping they're correct and right on that. And if they see the talent and it's there, I just don't want them to waste a draft pick. We'll see what it's going to cost. I don't think it's going to cost that much going forward. But there has been some whispers about teams have called the Las Vegas Raiders for Michael Mayer. And I wonder if the Philadelphia Eagles could be one of those teams. It wouldn't shock me if it really wouldn't shock me on how these contracts are unfolding going into the end of the 25 season and losing 2 tight ends, your number 1 tight end in Dallas Goedert, you know, and just things being really a big question mark at that spot. So, you know, you'll have weapons at tight end this year, but it may look a little different coming out of training camp. You never know. But we'll see what happens with that going forward. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Like, I have to take some shots at the Commanders and their fans, and I have to be realistic too on a trade like this where I could say it just wasn't good enough for me. It just felt like they just weren't patient enough, and they were just like, oh, let's just get him at a cheap price for a low risk, high reward move. And you know, no receivers are growing with Jaden Daniels. I mean, he's probably going to have new weapons by the 26th off season. It wouldn't really shock me going into a contract year at that point. You know, so we'll see what happens. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about the Deebo trade to Commanders. Are you afraid? Are you under a chair? Afraid? Hiding? No, I'm just kidding. You're not doing that. I know you're not doing that. But are they better themselves? Yes, they are going forward. And let me know what you think about the cornerback 2 spot and what the Eagles have to do there. What would you do here? You know, what do you think they're going to do? Is it Rodgers? Is it Slay? Is it both? Do they bring both of them back? Or do they go into this draft and they just get another rookie? You know? We'll see what happens. You guys have a fantastic day. It's going to be a crazy week next week. You guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Shakes what up. Fly, fly. Peace out, guys. Peace.